Welcome back. Do you have trees in your yard? Are they small trees, big trees? Well, regardless of the size, arborist Ryan Statham is here to offer advice on how to care for your trees. Hello, Ryan. How are you?
Jennifer, good. How are you doing?
Good. Welcome to the show. So,
Thanks.
Ryan, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
So I'm a certified arborist with the Davey Tree Expert Company. We do general plant healthcare, whether it's trimming or disease management, pretty much the whole gamut of tree care.
Okay. And so, right now, trees, how do I put this? I'm thinking that they might be confused because last week we had this big snow. The week before it was beautiful, and now this week it's beautiful again. How are trees doing when the weather changes like this?
Well, it's complicated, but trees take their cues from the environment. So when we have warm temperatures, that's contributing to the plants opening their buds and getting ready for summer. And similarly, cold temperatures affect the plants too. Once trees start to bud, they're sort of set on that path. So if they've already started to open their buds and then we get a really cold snap, that can certainly cause damage to the plants. So you're right; they're a little bit confused, right now with the ups and downs, but they're well adapted to that. I mean, that's been happening for as long as trees have been around. So hopefully, we don't see too much damage.
Okay. And then with regards to like their budding, something that I've noticed, and we talked a little bit about this prior to coming on here, is that trees are budding earlier now. Can you tell a little bit about why that happens?
Yeah, in general, I mean, this has been a conversation topic for a long time as the warming climate, and as temperatures warm up on a general scale, trees take their cues from the environment, and so if it's warmer, they're going to be budding out slightly earlier every year, and year over year, it's probably a very small change, but over a long period of time, they start to bud out earlier and earlier in the season. And that's been shown and fairly well documented in a number of studies that they are budding out earlier. So,
Yeah. And you had mentioned that it's like 26 days earlier now.
one study in Alberta, and they were looking at trembling aspens. And over the last 100 years, they've documented that these aspen stands are actually leafing out up to 26 days earlier than they were 100 years ago. So
Okay. And now is that a bad thing? Is it a good thing, or is it just a thing that happens?
it's getting warmer, certainly they're going to bud out earlier. Part of the problem that can create is they're a little bit more susceptible to late frosts. So when they bud out earlier, that might be because the temperatures have been slowly warming up, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be that cold snap, as we saw last week here in London, where it gets really really cold. So if the trees have opened their buds and then it gets cold, at that point you can start to see frost damage on some of the fine tips of the plants. So
Okay. And then what can that mean for the environment in general when the trees are damaged in those ways?
certainly it affects different trees different ways. Some trees are very very hardy, but other trees, especially flowering trees and fruit trees, that can cause damage to the flowers, so you don't get as many flowers. It can also cause damage to the fruit. So certainly it can have an impact.
Right. Okay, so in general, in terms of tree care, what can people do if they have beautiful trees in their yard and they want to make sure that they stay healthy? What are some general tips?
Big one is to contact an arborist. You want to get a professional in the industry to come out and give you that high level advice. And certainly there's a ton of different things you can do, like fertilizing the plants. You can wrap certain species like cedars, wrap them in the fall to make sure that they don't get winter burn or get dried out by cold winds in the wintertime. But the biggest one is to have an arborist come out and they can give you professional advice that's tailored to your plants.
Awesome. So there's a lot to know about trees, and the best thing for us to do is to contact someone like yourself, an arborist, to come out and help us to make our trees stay beautiful and healthy.
That's it. Contact an arborist. They'll come out and take a look, and they'll give you some great advice.
Thank you so much for being here, Ryan. Really appreciate you.
No problem. Thanks for having me.